Hello there, and thank you for finding your way back to this little gentle corner of the universe. In this moment when the night is folding away its final sounds, I want to invite you to sit down and feel the soft breaths of the cosmos. Because tonight, we are going to explore Jupiter together, the giant of our solar system, a world where there is no ground to stand on the way we stand on our beloved Earth. There are only endless layers of cloud, rising and falling like waves of gas, moving with the breath of the universe itself. A place where gravity turns every step into a challenge. Tonight, I want to open the door with you. The door that leads straight into the heart of that gentle giant. We will not talk about dry numbers, nor let facts weigh heavy on your shoulders. We will step into Jupiter through imagination, through stillness, through a slow rhythm, as slow and calm as Jupiter's own rotation in the vast darkness. And I promise that, by the end of this journey, you will see Jupiter not just as the biggest planet in the solar system, but as a peaceful, expansive, mysterious being, one gentle enough to lull the universe to sleep. Before we begin the journey through this cosmic scale, I would truly love to know where you're joining from tonight. Leave your location in the comments below. There's something so beautiful and humbling about contemplating the vastness of Jupiter, while lying scattered across our tiny blue world. And I would be truly grateful if you'd consider subscribing or supporting this video with your ad credits if you enjoy it. It would mean so much to me. And now, if you're ready, let your mind settle, and we'll begin. To start our journey tonight, let's turn to the question: just how big is Jupiter, really? And to answer that, let your mind drift into the universe, to a place where you can look down at your home planet from high above, where Earth becomes a tiny blue dot full of life, small but familiar, like a smooth pebble resting in the palm of the cosmos. Then lift your gaze just a little, and Jupiter appears, not as the planet you've seen in books, but as a breathing sphere of gas, a colossal globe exhaling softly in the dark. It is never still, never cold. It rotates, it shifts, it generates currents stronger than any storm we have ever known on Earth. Jupiter feels like an ancient monk in meditation, perfectly still, yet powerful enough to gather 1,000 Earths into its gentle embrace. And as you let that image pass slowly through your mind, you realize something. Jupiter is not just big, it is the very definition of vastness. Vast in a way that makes you breathe deeper, just to give your imagination more room. Vast in a way that makes every idea of size you've ever had feel suddenly too small. Those swirling clouds on Jupiter are not only beautiful, like bands of silk. Beneath them lies a story science has been trying to name for centuries. We do not know where Jupiter ends. It has no surface, no place to stand, no clear boundary, only layers upon layers of dense gas stacked atop each other like the meditation layers of an ancient sage, each level deeper holding another secret. In that dim, glowing light, you don't sense Jupiter's size through your eyes, you feel it. Jupiter is the kind of place where if you let a single drop of dew fall, it would fall forever. Falling, falling, until it disappears before ever reaching anything you could call ground. And just like that, the question, how big is Jupiter, has no single answer. It is not a number, not a ratio, not a tidy comparison. It is a feeling. The feeling Jupiter gives you. The feeling of standing before an endless night ocean, but an ocean that breathes. And when you let your breath slow down, let your body soften just a little more, you begin to understand why Jupiter is known as the keeper of rhythm in the solar system. Its size is not just impressive. Its vastness creates a pull, an influence, unmatched by any other planet. Here, in the quiet of the night, let this thought glide gently across your mind like a stream of water. Jupiter is so vast that even imagination must slow down to hold it. And when you've felt a glimpse of that immensity, we can go deeper. Toward the next secrets the giant keeps beneath its spiraling clouds. Secrets that many describe as the breath of stability. Right now, another image begins to appear. Soft, unhurried, carrying with it a quiet glow of hope. It is the image of Earth, our small, tender home, floating in the atmosphere of your mind like a pale blue stone, resting in the gentle palm of the cosmos. From this moment, comparing Earth to Jupiter is no longer about numbers, but about a story of smallness and vastness, fragility and strength. Two worlds standing side by side yet impossibly different. Imagine, right now, that you are looking at Earth from far away, a tiny blue orb, light as a drop of morning dew, clinging to a blade of grass. Then let your gaze drift just slightly, just enough for another presence to reveal itself. Jupiter, enormous, swirling, glowing softly like a mountain of gas breathing in the dark. It feels like watching two beings at opposite ends of existence, one small and familiar, one so large the mind must stretch just to hold it. If Jupiter were hollow, if it were just a smooth shell of gas, it could cradle more than 1,000 Earths inside. Hearing that number might make you whisper a small wow, but seeing it in your imagination brings a very different sensation, a sense of imbalance between humanity and the cosmos, between what we know and what lies beyond our knowing. 1,000 Earths, like 1,000 tiny morning droplets falling into a single bowl of water. Small, gentle, easily dissolved. Each droplet beautiful in its own way, but all swallowed into a world far greater than themselves. In that image, Jupiter stops being just a planet. It becomes an invisible, hollow vessel, gently holding the space for 1,000 worlds. A cradle of gas and wind, with storms stretching tens of thousands of kilometers, clouds flowing like ribbons pulled by an unseen hand. When you imagine placing our fragile Earth inside Jupiter, something in your chest shifts. Not fear, not confusion, but a quiet reverence, the same reverence you feel standing before a mountain so vast you must step back to see it. And when you allow that visualization to flow through you like warm water, you see that Jupiter is a planet that forces us to slow down. Some things are so large the human mind can't grasp them in a single glance. Jupiter is one of those things. It is so vast that your gaze needs a moment to catch up. So heavy that even time seems to move differently around it. So powerful that Earth, small, delicate, beautiful, becomes like a leaf drifting in the giant winds of the universe. And yet, within that contrast lies something beautiful. When we look at Jupiter, we don't only see its immensity, we see our own fragility. And our fragility makes Earth even more precious. Like standing in a forest and realizing you are tiny, yet lovingly held. Jupiter offers that same feeling, a grandeur that never threatens but softly whispers, "Look, see how wide the universe truly is." And now, as the image of Earth dissolves gently within Jupiter's vast embrace, your mind opens another door, one leading to a truth the eyes cannot see, but intuition understands deeply. If Jupiter's size amazes us, its mass leaves us breathless, like an unseen hand resting gently on our shoulder, reminding us that some things don't need to be seen to shape everything. From that quiet awe, we slide softly into another depth of the story, the depth of weight. Close your eyes for a moment, and imagine weight, not as something burdensome, but as a warm, underlying hum, the deep note in a cosmic melody that prevents the tune from floating away. Some things don't need speed or brightness. Their very presence reshapes the world around them. Jupiter is exactly that, a deep meditation bell amid cosmic noise. It's difficult to put Jupiter's weight into words. You might hear the number nearly 2.5 times the mass of all the other planets combined. But numbers often echo like distant voices in a cave. Loud, but hollow. So let's imagine it another way. If the solar system were a vast lake, Jupiter would be the stone resting at the bottom, shaping ripples you cannot see but always feel. Its weight doesn't simply pull, it organizes. Like a serene monk in a noisy room whose stillness alone quiets every sound, Jupiter gathers the material around it, calming chaos, collecting fragments and pulling them into order. Some worlds tried to form between Mars and Jupiter, but the giant's gravity whispered them apart. Not to destroy, but because its presence is so strong, so gentle, the seeds of those worlds dissolved into dust before they could grow. The empty gap between Mars and Jupiter, the asteroid belt, is the imprint of that weight. It is not an emptiness without purpose, but a quiet breath between two worlds, a soft comma in the solar system's story, a place where Jupiter reached its gravitational hand over the flow of matter and murmured, "Here, remain unfinished." And through this lens, Jupiter ceases to be just a planet. It becomes a keeper of rhythm, a still point the entire solar system leans into. Jupiter does not sing loudly, but its weight rings like a deep meditation bell, a tone too low for the ears, yet unmistakable to the soul. Perhaps you've never thought a gas giant could hold such calm beauty, but when you sit quietly in the night, when the window whispers and everything goes still, Jupiter's weight feels like the moment your heartbeat slows before sleep. Steady, grounded, peaceful. As your breath softens another notch, we can step into the next question. Can Jupiter truly touch the Sun? The answer is yes, but not with drama or blazing light. Jupiter touches the Sun the way two heartbeats graze one another in silence. So softly, you must lean in to feel it. And that is where the next part of our story begins. Slow, gentle, and quiet. Imagine our sun, the warm lantern hanging in the universe, the place where every sunrise begins, not standing perfectly still, as we often imagine. From afar, it looks like an old dancer, no longer swift, but still graceful in its own deliberate way. Those tiny, patient shifts are not random. They are the sun's response to Jupiter, the silent giant sitting hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Jupiter does not yank or tug the sun like a child pulling a toy. Instead, their bond is like two aging performers who have danced together for 4 billion years. A single subtle lean from one shifts the posture of the other. A movement soft as a page turning, slow as night sliding across a doorway. In this dance, both revolve around a hidden point, what scientists call the barycenter. But tonight, we'll imagine it as a small spinning table just beyond the sun's surface. A strange place, invisible, untouchable, yet honored by both celestial bodies as if it were an ancient ritual circle. Think of it like something closer to home. Two old friends beneath a long-lived tree, sometimes tilting their heads toward one another, sometimes swaying gently with the wind. No leader, no follower, just two beings so familiar that every motion is subtly shared. The Sun and Jupiter are like that, a relationship without words, held together only by gravity. And the sweetest part of this dance is that even though the Sun is enormous, more than 1,000 times Jupiter's mass, it still nudges every time Jupiter completes part of its orbit. A tiny shift, too small to feel, but always present, as if Jupiter is brushing the Sun's elbow, whispering softly, "I'm still here. Don't forget." When we learn that truth, the Sun, so often seen as an unmoving center, suddenly feels softer, more familiar. It is no longer the cold king of the solar system, but an old friend taking part in a dance that has been going on since the dawn of chaos. And Jupiter, with its calm, immense mass, not only keeps rhythm for the planets around it, but also for the very star we look at each morning. A silent dance, a bond that outlives time. A tiny motion, just enough to remind us that in this universe, even the steadiest things can be moved by something, or by someone. And as we gently step back from the image of these two giants spinning around each other, we notice something else waiting quietly to be told. Jupiter spins so fast that it changes its own shape. But let me tell you about that in a very slow, deep rhythm, like a breath resting softly on your shoulder. Right now, the image of the Sun and Jupiter is still lingering somewhere in your mind, two old companions turning together in a slow dance. And you might begin to notice something small, something subtle. If Jupiter can make a star like the Sun tilt just a little, then what is happening inside Jupiter itself? What is going on within that giant world of gas as it spins and spins, never stopping? That question rises up gently like a small ripple on water. And all we have to do is lean in a little closer. And Jupiter will tell us the next part of its story. You can imagine Jupiter as an artist sitting before a spinning pottery wheel, hands resting lightly on a massive lump of clay. But here is the strange thing. In this case, there are no hands at all. Only the planet's own body, spinning very fast, like a meditative dance stretched across billions of years. Just 10 hours for one full turn. So fast that if we stood beside it, we wouldn't see Jupiter rotate, we would simply see it breathe, swelling at the equator like a chest, lifting in a deep inhalation. That bulge is not because Jupiter is old or weak, but because it holds within itself a spinning energy, immense yet quiet. No engine noise, no howling wind, just a slow, steady rotation, like the heartbeat of a planet meditating in the dark. If you close your eyes and imagine it, you can sense that Jupiter is not a perfect sphere, but slightly flattened at the top and bottom, stretched wider around the middle, like the body when we place a hand on our stomach and breathe in deeply, and everything gently opens outward for a moment. And the most magical thing is this. Even though it spins so fast, Jupiter never feels frantic or chaotic. On the contrary, it spins in a way that makes its cloud bands melt into soft streaks of color, white, gold, orange, red, gliding across its surface like brushstrokes on a painting that is continuously painting itself. It is speed hidden inside slowness, power concealed within gentleness, a kind of balance that only gas giants truly understand. We often think of fast as rushed, messy, overwhelming. But Jupiter teaches us that there are motions so fast they become smooth, like a fan blade. When it turns slowly, you hear each gust of air. When it spins quickly enough, the noise disappears and only a cool, steady breeze remains. Jupiter is the same. It spins so fast that its speed dissolves into stillness. You can picture yourself standing on the highest cloud tops of Jupiter, a place with no ground, no place to plant your feet, only an ocean of gas swirling below. From there, you wouldn't feel the speed. You'd only see the horizon curve gently, as if the planet itself were wrapping its arms around you. Only when we look from afar through a telescope do we see its equator bulging outward, clear as a soft, graceful curve. Like the body of someone meditating in the night, Jupiter looks so still that many might think it is frozen. But it isn't. Beneath those clouds, thousands of storms are spinning, tens of thousands of jet streams are flowing, and the entire planet is rotating so fast that everything is stretched, pulled into a shape that is no longer perfectly round, a swelling not born of imbalance, but of a life force that is simply too deep, too strong. Jupiter feels like a colossal heart beating to its own rhythm. Not loud, not showy, just one of the universe's breaths. In, swelling out, drawing back in, repeating again and again for billions of years. And as you let your mind drift along with that spin, you may feel something open within yourself. A quietness, a sense that every movement, no matter how fast, can belong to peace. Right now, as your breath slows down, Jupiter is still turning to its own steady beat. And we are about to step into an even deeper region, where the heart of this planet is not as clear as we might imagine. A hazy transition zone between solid and gas, between heavy and light, like a secret that has never quite been given a name. If rocky planets like Earth have clear hearts, a molten iron core with solid and liquid separated cleanly like two layers of color, then Jupiter belongs to a completely different world. A world where boundaries are no longer lines, where everything dissolves into everything else like light fading into mist. Try imagining yourself sinking below the golden-orange clouds of Jupiter. There is no sense of falling, only a gentle sinking, like stepping down into a pool of fog. You drift through thick layers of gas, each one tinted a different shade, yellow, white, pale red, like thin veils of silk wrapped around a sleeping giant. And as you go deeper, everything grows darker, but not with a harsh, heavy darkness. It's a soft kind of dark, like the dimness in a room full of floating dust specks. Down there, Jupiter begins to reveal its secret. A heart, but not a clear one, not sharp, with no outline to grasp. Scientists call this region a diffuse core. A core spread out, reaching almost halfway across the planet. But through the eyes of a mind, drifting quietly before sleep, it looks more like a cloud of rock, gas, metal, suspended together, not solid, not empty, not liquid, not fully gas, just something in between all of those. Like Jupiter, refuses to let any neat definition touch its heart. Imagine looking at a glass of water that has been stirred with sand, metal dust, and tiny bits of stone until everything has broken into countless particles. They don't separate, don't fully sink, don't fully float. They simply blend into a shimmering, blurry region. Jupiter's core is like that. No one knows exactly where it begins or ends. It is a kind of beautiful uncertainty, like a faint glow at the bottom of a deep ocean. Perhaps Jupiter was born too early in the history of the solar system, at a time when everything was still chaotic, when heat, gas, and rock had not yet divided into neat layers. Perhaps it swallowed thousands of rocky planetesimals, then let time and pressure crush and dissolve them into that hazy transition zone. Whatever the reason, Jupiter has kept that secret for more than 4 billion years. Like a heart that does not wish to be exposed. And as you come closer in your imagination, you begin to sense that this heart beats without beating, not like a human heart. With clear pulses, not like Earth's core, with flowing magma currents. Jupiter's heart beats through pressure, through heat, through the collisions of particles in that blurred core, like the low, steady breathing of someone in the deepest sleep. In that place, metallic hydrogen, a strange form of matter that exists only under crushing pressures, shimmers faintly, like moonlight on a cloudy lake. Hidden currents of electricity flow through the core, generating a gigantic magnetic field that we can feel from hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Every tiny movement inside that region ripples outward, swelling into massive changes on the surface. Storms that last for 1,000 years, swirling bands of cloud, red vortices like the ancient eye of some cosmic creature. The more you imagine it, the more clearly you sense that Jupiter's heart is not an object, but a state, a transition, a boundary no one sees, yet everyone can feel if they listen closely enough. Like when you place your hand on your own chest and notice that between one heartbeat and the next, there is a tiny moment, a moment you cannot quite name. Jupiter's core is that moment. The pause between two breaths of a planet. And when we understand that, we begin to see Jupiter differently. Not just as the largest gas sphere in the solar system, but as a living being cradling its ambiguous heart, quietly turning in the night of space. And as we're still gazing at that hazy heart, a region where light and darkness blend, like the breath of some ancient being, we suddenly realize it is from this very depth that Jupiter starts sending out its pulses into the space around it, as if every small motion in the core travels outward, seeping through the thick layers of gas, weaving into invisible streams of energy that no human eye will ever see. And that is the moment when the story gently shifts to a grander scene. The surface of Jupiter, where winds, magnetic threads, and storms that last for centuries are woven into a quiet cosmic symphony. From very far away, Jupiter looks like a soft, swirling band of colors. But as you move closer, you notice something strange. This planet is not just beautiful, it is alive. Every swirl, every stripe, every movement carries the presence of a vast body breathing. Jupiter's magnetic field is one of the first things you sense, not with your eyes, but with your feelings. Picture thick, invisible cables of energy, like the ropes of an ancient ship, wrapping around the planet in great arches. They stretch for millions of kilometers, sweeping through space like a silent dance. If you could touch them, you'd feel them hum gently, like strings of a harp plucked in absolute silence. Beneath those strands of energy, Jupiter's winds are nothing like Earth's. They don't simply brush across your face. They roll, twist, and slide past one another like enormous rivers. Some winds stretch for thousands of kilometers, strong enough to paint soft brush strokes across the multicolored atmosphere. Every band of cloud is a line of paint. Every vortex is a flick of the brush. The whole planet is like a painting in progress, constantly being created, never once pausing, across billions of years. And then there is lightning. But not the sharp, thin white lightning we usually see. On Jupiter, the lightning glows purple, sometimes a cold blue, flashing deep within the clouds like secret symbols from a dream. These bolts are so powerful they can light up an entire region of the atmosphere. But their light is not harsh. It shimmers, like lanterns hanging in the middle of a storm. At the heart of all this turbulence lies a vast, silent structure, the Great Red Spot. It isn't an ordinary storm, it is an ancient eye, a being that has watched time drift by for more than 300 years. The bands of clouds swirling around it are like old memories twisting and folding, and in that swirling storm you can imagine the whole history of Jupiter. Every breath of wind, every cycle of rotation, every secret vibration from the blurred heart below. The Great Red Spot is always spinning, but it never rushes away. It stays there, slowly, calmly, like a gentle old man sitting on a mountaintop, watching the world change without ever being shaken. Other storms come and go, but that eye remains open, contemplative, looking at time with the calmest gaze. And when you stand before all this motion, the trembling magnetic lines, the endless winds, the violet lightning bolts that flare and fade, you begin to feel that Jupiter is not a planet at all, but a long epic poem, a song without lyrics, where every stream of gas, every branch of lightning, every subtle tremor weaves together into a music that only hearts quiet enough can truly hear. Now that you've felt the heartbeat of Jupiter's surface, let me guide you to a wider circle, where as many as 79 moons are circling this gentle giant, like lanterns hanging beneath a deep, dark sky. If Jupiter is a kind old teacher, then its 79 moons are the patient students, silently orbiting like rings of light in a cosmic meditation. Each moon has its own personality, its own soul, its own breath. They are nothing alike, and they don't try to be. They simply move in their paths, each orbit telling a story. Io is the most hot-tempered child of them all. On its surface, enormous volcanoes erupt again and again, bursting forth like the fiery breath of a spirit that always wants to say something but never finishes the sentence. Every time Io explodes, a little bit of light dances in the darkness, like the drumbeat in an ancient song of the universe. Europa is the one most worth dreaming about. Beneath its thin, fragile shell of ice, where no light can reach, lies a deep ocean. An ocean that may be pulsing with small, quiet forms of life we have never known. Europa feels like a dream still sleeping, cold breath filled with hope, as if with the gentlest touch, it might open its eyes and look back at us. Ganymede is completely different. It feels like a seasoned warrior, steady, calm, solid. It is the only moon in the solar system with its own magnetic field, like an invisible suit of armor. Ganymede doesn't need noise to be special. It simply stands there, strong in its silence. And Callisto is like an old journal. Its surface is covered in scars, each one a story torn by time but never erased. Callisto is not bright, and not loud either. It simply holds the memories of billions of years, quiet and profound, like the yellowed pages of an old book you stumble upon in an attic. Beyond those 4 great moons, there are dozens of smaller ones, tiny worlds drifting like specks of glowing dust around Jupiter. Each small moon is like a paper lantern hanging in the wind. Fragile, yet heartbreakingly beautiful. When you take in the whole scene, a giant planet in the center, surrounded by 79 flowing lights, you understand that Jupiter is not just a planet. It is a miniature solar system, a great family, a private universe within the universe. And every night, when Jupiter's light shimmers in the distant sky, those moons are also circling, lighting up little points of glow, as soft as your own breath. Now that we have walked through the world of these lanterns, the story leads us toward a greater truth. Jupiter does not only nurture its moons, it shapes the entire solar system. At this moment, if you imagine the solar system as a concert spread out to infinity, where each planet is an instrument with its own tone, then Jupiter is the great musician keeping time for the whole performance. Not loud, not showy, just with its heavy gravity, which still feels soft like the gentlest touch, Jupiter has quietly shaped everything around it. Try closing your eyes and feel this. Billions of years ago, when the solar system was still unsettled, Jupiter was already moving like a giant arm, sweeping through a sea of rock and dust. Those motions, so slow they can't be sensed within a human lifetime, were strong enough to decide which worlds would form and which would crumble back into ash. Jupiter gathered material, pulled it closer, then pushed it away again, carving out the vast, empty space between Mars and Jupiter. A gap that, without its invisible hand, might once have become another planet. And then, as if that were not enough, Jupiter became the quiet guardian of Earth. The giant asteroids, wandering bodies, threats emerging from the dark of space, most of them were pulled aside by Jupiter, swallowed by its storms or trapped in its own orbit. Earth has enjoyed its calm in part because this giant has always stood there, between us and the cold abyss beyond. Yet the most beautiful thing is not its strength, but the way Jupiter does all of this without ever asking to be seen. It makes no sound. It leaves no obvious mark. There is only gravity, a soft embrace, strong enough to keep the solar system steady. Imagine Jupiter as an enormous hand, gently shifting space, arranging each orbit, each path of the smaller worlds. Not hurried, not hesitant, just the patience of billions of years. When you think about this, Jupiter becomes great not only in size, but in spirit. Like a teacher watching over a classroom, making sure each student can follow its own path without colliding with the others. And in the moment you slow your breathing to feel this picture, a truth emerges very clearly. Jupiter does not simply exist in the solar system. Jupiter creates the solar system as we see it today. Now that the picture has opened this far, our journey has one last soft note. A place where Jupiter is not only an architect, but also a final warm light in the night of the universe. And as we stand before the image of Jupiter as a quiet architect, keeping time for the entire solar system over billions of years, something very natural begins to happen. We start to feel a gentle, deep gratitude. Like stepping back from a great painting and realizing that every tiny stroke, every small motion the eye once overlooked, has helped shape the whole. From that feeling, Jupiter's story glides into another emotional layer. Not just science, but connection. A bond between us and a planet we've never touched, yet one that has always been present in Earth's long journey of evolution. And in that very moment, the final part of the story begins to open, where Jupiter is not only a creator but also a guardian, a quiet flame burning in the cosmic night. When you lift your head to the night sky and see Jupiter as just a small bright dot, it is easy to pass it by and think it's simply another planet in the grand play of the cosmos. But when you know all that Jupiter has done, quietly, steadily, without seeking any glory, that little dot of light is no longer just reflected sunlight. It becomes a hidden flame, a warm glow in the dark, where a gentle giant is keeping balance for an entire family of planets. Imagine Jupiter standing there for 4 billion years, like an ancient guardian, pulling in rushing blocks of ice and rock, deflecting wandering bodies, keeping Earth and us safe within the narrow band of light where life can bloom. Jupiter doesn't need to say anything. It only needs to exist, and from that existence, the whole solar system has found its rhythm. You can picture Jupiter as a vast, patient, open arm, stretched out into the cold darkness to shield us from the most violent things in space. And then you realize that even in the universe, a place we often imagine as indifferent and cold, there are worlds that carry the feeling of a caretaker, a support, a spark, a warmth you cannot see, but can sense with your heart. And here, in this moment as you listen, Jupiter becomes more than a name. It becomes the feeling that we are not completely alone in that endless sea of night. The universe is so immense that the idea of safety might seem like an illusion. But Jupiter has helped turn that illusion into something real. Now, as the story reaches its final note, you can let your body grow a little heavier, as though Jupiter's gravity, much gentler in this version, is holding you up. Let your mind drift like a leaf upon that vast, gaseous ocean. Drift past swirling cloud bands as beautiful as painted silk. Drift past red storm scars glowing like ancient embers. Drift past the lanterns, 79 moons, circling like a silent choir. In Jupiter's embrace, every worry becomes small. Every question grows light as stardust. And you only need to breathe slowly, a little slower still, because tonight you are completely allowed to fall asleep in the shelter of a colossal world you've never touched, but that has quietly watched over you since long before life began on Earth. I wish you a peaceful sleep, where Jupiter keeps turning, keeps guarding the flame, keeps lighting a small corner of the cosmic night, so we can dream our long, gentle dreams. Sleep well.